Hi everyone, Peter Young, author of The Blue Team. If you have 2 minutes, I've got another book review for you. This time it is I Came as a Shadow by John Thompson, which came out in December of 2020, which was a few months after Thompson died. I loved this book. First off, Thompson is hilarious. He's insightful. He's not really trying very hard to make himself look good in this book, so he exposes his flaws. He's got a lot of salty language, a lot of swearing, but that's the way he talked. My one criticism of the book, Thompson was obsessed with race, and that is the major theme of this book. He saw race in everything, which to me is an awful way to live your life. Thompson even brings up Martin Luther King Jr. and his speech at the Lincoln Memorial, where he says that we should judge people based on the content of their character and not on the color of their skin. Well, Thompson did it sometimes, but as you'll read in this book, most of his life, he did not. Now, he shares a ton of college basketball history that I found fascinating. So I played college basketball at George Washington University, which is in D.C., not too far away from the Georgetown campus. And I was there in the mid to late 80s. And back then, that's when Thompson was at his peak. And you either loved Georgetown or you hated him. And I hated him. But I wish I knew then what I know now, thanks to this book, which is all the great connections and relationships that Thompson had. For instance, Red Auerbach, the great Celtics coach, had known Thompson since Thompson was in high school, and Red would go watch him play. Well, Red had played at George Washington a long time ago and would come to a few of our games and practices every year. And then there's Mike Jarvis. So Jarvis and Thompson knew each other well when Thompson was recruiting Patrick Ewing, and Jarvis was his high school coach. Well, years later, my last year in college, I got to play for Mike Jarvis. And then there's John McClendon, who was like a mentor to Thompson. They were very good friends. And McClendon was a legend at some historically black colleges back in the 50s and 60s. And when I was just a kid, I was fortunate enough to go to a basketball camp where McClendon taught. And at the time, I had no idea who he was. Now, listen, I could go on and on. I didn't do anything famous. I wasn't a very good college basketball player. But I was around then. I got to meet these coaches. And I love how Thompson includes them in this book. So if you like college basketball, do yourself a favor and buy this book. It is very good. At this point, it is probably my favorite basketball memoir. So there you go. I Came as a Shadow. I highly recommend it. If you've liked this video, give it a like, give it a share. Keep your comments coming. And until next time, as always, keep reading.